We'll go ahead and call the Monday, June 21st, 2010 Public Safety Committee to order. I'll entertain a motion for the minutes for last month.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. First on the agenda tonight will be the Smyrna Rescue Squad. How you doing tonight? Doing good. Trying to stay cool.
Should have bought my truck up.
It's still hot on a motorcycle, isn't it?
It's very hot, especially when you have to stop and try to get the lights.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, now you can see we had a somewhat productive quarter there for April. We had 52 MVAs. I'm not sure how many of those were extrications, but city calls we had 2. Roadside, Murfreesboro we had 2. 2 medical assist, 2 public assist, water rescues 20, search and rescue recovery 12, farming accidents 1, training 4 of them for 134 hours, maintenance of the building and vehicles 4, first aid standbys 4, fundraisers 6 for 253 hours, and we had 6 meetings for 129.5 hours.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Smith?
What was the farming accident?
The farming? That was a lady out off of Almaville Road. She had tried to, you remember that one, Mike?
I don't remember my count.
Huh?
She's the one that got stomped by the cow.
No, that's the one that got her ankle caught with the, when she tried to load up the backhoe and it slipped on her. She had her ankle foot severed. And we went out there and we helped land Life Flight out there. They'd already had her pretty well taken care of. We got there and we set up for Life Flight. So.
Smith, on your training, can you specify exactly what you
Well, we train in vehicle extrication mainly, how to equip the vehicles, how to properly use the tools, start the equipment, and how to hook it all up. And we have training scenarios where we have them start from the building, get their equipment on, get to a vehicle, crib it, and pull the gear off and start it up, try and set it that way.
That total 134 hours, I'm assuming that is like you have 10 personnel that train?
That's all the hours, yeah, for everybody that trains.
Okay.
Right? Yep.
Any more questions for anybody?
Terry, what's y'all's lease situation over there?
Our lease is up in 2017 with,
Okay.
with the city. We're good until 2017.
The city or the church?
Well, the city wrote the new agreement,
Okay.
and the church is abiding by it.
Okay.
So we're there until July the 1st, 2017.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Anybody else?
Terry, you want to walk us through the water rescue, what y'all took part in?
Okay, the water rescues, we had one that we assisted here in Rutherford County with, and we had one in Humphreys County. The other 18 were all done in Davidson County Metro. We worked with OEM.
Yeah. In the days following.
In the days following the flood, right. And the actual search and recoveries for that young man Tomlinson that went missing on the 2nd. We were down at the request of the family and OEM, and the OEM has actually called the mission off, but the family still wants us to go down there and assist them whenever we can, so that's what we're probably going to be doing this weekend again. They're calling us back down, so, because they'd like to get some closure, and so would we.
Yeah, where's that at?
It's down at Harpeth River, down close to Pegram, down there.
All right.
Terry, how many help on that?
Pardon?
How many help from the
How many help?
Yes, sir.
We have anywhere, when we go down, we have anywhere from 4 to 10, maybe 15 members go down from our organization, but we're not the only organization down there. We have other organizations from the Rescue Squad, Middle Tennessee, going down to assist also. So at any given time, I mean, on the biggest push we had was on a Sunday. We probably had 75 people searching.
Good, okay.
Down there.
Thanks.
All right, anything else? If not, I entertain a motion.
motion to approve the report?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Juvenile detention report.
Good evening.
How you doing tonight?
Great.
Like we got it in front of us, don't we?
Yes, sir, you do. I've already passed it out. What you'll have in front of you is for the month of May. And I have also got a very small budget amendment to talk about tonight. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Basically, your numbers are basically the same as they've been averaging, correct, roughly?
We're a little low.
Total collections are running in order, so.
Right, we're on top of that. Nobody's running late. We've just billed, so we're waiting to receive those.
Any questions?
Motion approved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Our discussion? If not, any, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We've got a budget amendment.
We recently had a lieutenant to resign, and when we did all of our calculations, we were $37 off. So we just need to move $37 from within one line item to the lieutenant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All right, discussion on the $37. I don't hear anything. Call her up.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. Anything else?
Then, wasn't it you that had one that was even smaller than that last month?
I
Somebody
think it
did.
was 63 last
Okay.
month.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
OSHA report. Mr. Dan Good.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Got someone here you'd like to introduce?
Yes, I would. I'd like to introduce Melissa Stinson. She is the new insurance director for the county. Just to kind of let you know a little bit about her, Melissa lives here in Rutherford County for the past 14 years. She comes to us from the Health Cost Solutions, where she was employed for 6 years and served as the Director of Claims, Vice President of Operations, President, and lastly, as a consultant. She previously worked for CNA for 5 years as claims analysis, claims team leader, and general manager for the life and long-term care claims. She's got a Bachelor of Science in Health Education from MTSU, and she has her HIA certification from the Health Insurance Association of America. So she's the new insurance director for Rutherford County.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Now, and you've already started, is that correct?
Yes,
I know, I thought at one time it was around the 1st of July or something that you were.
This is the first day of my third week.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You live in Murfreesboro?
I live in Smyrna.
Smart. You know who your county commissioner is, I'm sure, don't you?
Who my county
I bet you
commissioner is.
Who's your commissioner?
This is a good question. Actually, I did, but I've been trying to learn all of it so much.
You know who your mayor is, don't you?
That's good.
All right.
Okay, you do have your report there in front of you. In the month of May, we had 11 injuries requiring medical attention. For the year to date, we've got a total of 90, and you can see the breakout for the year to date and for that month. For the year, OSHA recordable total 56. 18 of those had restricted days, 18 had lost days, and there were 20 that classified as others. On the next page, if you'll take a look at that, you'll get a graphic representation of what that looks like. Just to kind of touch on that, when you look at that, in 2008, for the month of May, we had 31 claims. In 2009, we had 12, and in 2010, we have 11 that I just reported on. For the year to date, 2008, when you look at that graph, that's 112, and in 2009, we had 90, and in 2010, we have 90 year to date also. So it's while it looks like they were coming down, I just caution you that it is for last year and this year, same total right now for the total year to date.
I was fixing to say, because, you know, you look at 08 and 09 right here in May.
Absolutely. And we're doing quite a bit of stuff. I wanted to bring that up. Hopefully we're doing a lot of safety awareness. Tim Street in the training, he conducted in the first quarter training on walking surfaces. He did that with the Board of Education and with the County General. In the second quarter, we had 10 accident traps, training on that. And then in the next quarter coming up, we've got housekeeping. We've also put a big push on with the Board of Education. I hesitate to say too much during the the summer because we really pushed on their stripping of the floors with the schools and things like that. We did some training individually with the custodians. I think I mentioned that to you prior. And, you know, we're called all the schools and talked to all the lead custodians also here in the last couple of weeks. And so we're really putting on a push to try and hold those injuries down from where they were previous years. Next page, when you look at that after the graph, you'll note that the total incurred is $12,700 for the month. And that breaks out for the Board of Education, had a total of 7 injuries and claims. Total incurred for them was $11,150. And for the county general, they had 4 claims, which is $1,600. And that's all I have for you at this time.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask on the Board of Education, it said they're listed as heater cold or burner scald.
Yes.
2 of them. Was that cafeteria maybe?
Yes, sir, it is.
And
Yes,
Burns?
sir. Well, or one of them could very well also be a custodian where you get chemical burns, and it comes in burns. So you get burns in the cafeteria, or custodian maybe working with some kind of cleaning solvent to be chemical burn. Yes, sir.
But none of them were exposure to what I assume that the heater cold exposure. That's
Oh,
what it
yeah.
said
Oh,
in
I'm
that
sorry. Yes.
definition.
No,
Yeah.
we have not had anything for heat exhaustion or anything like that. And
Yeah.
obviously, cold is nothing right now.
Yeah.
But we've had some things with Care Here been put out, some information as far as heat exposures and precautions to take for that, along with also our in-house Kelly that does the wellness. Thank you. She's also been working on that too, making awareness of that. So.
You know, I hadn't planned on bringing this up tonight until you got here, and I apologize, and you've been here 3 weeks, but I've had numerous calls on this from employees and teachers. And Mayor, you've been chairman of the insurance committee, and I apologize to you, but I just seeing her here tonight made me bring it up, made me think of it. I think is our subcommittee on this. I think we just got through approving this Gatsby thing on the retirement. I've had numerous phone calls on this issue, and can anybody elaborate on what the status is? I think is there a subcommittee that's come back and going to look at this, or is that?
A subcommittee is looking at one small component of the age bracketing that we've determined, and they have had several discussions about that. This will probably be discussed at the next insurance committee meeting.
Okay.
When is that meeting?
This Thursday,
This Thursday?
yes.
Okay.
It'll be 1 o'clock, and it will be in the courtroom.
Okay.
Is it going to be televised? Because I know when the last one, when they went over all that, was
You know, it's
televised.
been, well, we've been over all this many times, but it's televised each time.
Okay. It sounds like some other commissioners may have gotten some phone calls as well.
Several.
I just,
Oh, that's
you've been a new director, I thought, well,
That's okay, it's good.
it triggered my memory.
That's the
and-
things I want to know.
Matter of fact, I think the last phone call I had was today. And, all right, anybody else? Okay, we got a motion need a motion for the report.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. All right, anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Ambulance service report. Mr. Nunley, welcome. Whenever you're ready, Mike.
We made 1,796 calls last month. Average response time 7.8 minutes. You got to remember that we had a lot of flood calls, and the response time on those drove our regular response time up. We had 21 coroner's calls. We billed $1,082,963. Collected $443,487. And that puts us on a projection of $5,285,481, which is about $500,000 higher than last year. We had $331,581 in insurance write-offs, $105,676 in collection agency write-offs, and $8,206 in county workers' comp.
You just take those last three items, Mike, and just go through and explain them one more time. Just what they are, not the amounts.
Okay.
You know.
The insurance write-offs, for instance, if we collect 10K, then we're obligated to write the balance off. We also write the balance off on Medicare.
Okay.
Other write-offs is we turn, after about 6 months, we turn these things over to collection agency. At some point in time, if they just say these are uncollectible, we can't find them or whatever, then those are the other write-offs. And on the county discount, that includes inmates and both in the jail and in the correctional workhouse facility, as well as for county employees, we file their insurance and then we write off the balance.
And those basically are, it basically boils down to the taxpayers would be paying those, and that's one reason it's being written off. Just saving taxpayer dollars in end result, basically, right?
Thank you.
We have the table for ambulances that are on the bottom of the page. We have gotten our 4 new ambulances, got here last Wednesday. We're working on those to get them stocked and with equipment and supplies, and we'll have them inspected. And so I think probably about 2 more weeks they'll be on the road.
Will you be retiring some of these, or do you sell them?
No, we can't sell them. We have to either give them to another government agency or we have to crush them. And if we give them to another agency, they have to agree to crush them when they get through with them because of the Homeland Security stuff.
Okay.
As far as your first question about retiring the ambulances, we already have retired 2, I guess. We had one of them that was at a scene of a motor vehicle accident in Smyrna, and it got run over. So it's total. And then we have
Just as you were supposed to.
What?
So you crushed it just as you were supposed to.
Well, somebody else crushed it for us. And we have another one that has significant front end problems. It's going to cost about $2,000 to fix that, and I'm not sure if that vehicle is actually worth it or not. So, but we probably will retire 2 more. We made 300 out of zone calls. That I think probably was up because we had our total runs were up.
You had an extra 150 runs from last year. For this year, this month.
And the in-services and training and activities of our special events and REACT team and so on are all listed on the second page. If there's anything on there I can tell you about, I'll be happy to. On the following page is the response time broken down by ambulance stations, as well as their response times. Our support truck made 130 calls. Sort made 13 calls. That doesn't count the flood calls. That's just calls that they were called out on for some reason.
Does that include on the other 46, our wreck with injuries calls? That's not counting those. So there's an addition to 13 other, more than 13 calls that they made.
They respond to a lot of calls as backup or sometimes as first responder.
Right.
If the Blackman station happens to be out on a run and there's an accident or some kind of medical emergency right there, all of the people on the sort team are paramedics, so they can make first responder calls.
I just didn't want somebody thinking that they only made 13 calls for the month. And
they made that, remember the flood
right
in this month too. On the following page is the calls broken down by commissioner district and the Nashville calls. The transport team transported 46 patients to Nashville hospitals, primarily from Middle Tennessee Medical Center and Stonecrest Medical Center. They also answered 66 911 calls for a total of 110 calls. The following page from that is the same information by year. And then we have some thank you letters.
Mike, I know I've asked you this before, as far as the next ambulance station, I know right now that the way funding is, which would you say the location of the next one would most likely be?
Typically, when we decide where the ambulance is going to go, we'll do a study based on the response times and areas of the county that are lacking in response times. And we haven't done that in a while, but the last time that we did it, it showed that the Las Casas area and Walter Hill area are both probably deserving of an ambulance.
I know we certainly would appreciate it, but I understand the funding situation right now.
You know, the hospital is going to move in October, and Burton Street has always been our busiest ambulance. I'm not sure that's because the hospital is in that district or not, but I guess we're going to find out in October. So.
Thank you.
But MTSU station answers calls into Las Casas ambulance. Signal ambulance answers calls into Walter Hill, and those are both pretty busy ambulances.
If that is the case, that the reason the Burton Street station is the busiest because of the hospital being located there, what's that going to do to, when the hospital goes out on Medical Center Parkway, is that most likely to increase possibly the Blackman station, or?
It probably would, but as I've told you, I've not ever been convinced that the reason that ambulance is so busy is because of the hospital. Because typically, you know, we bring the patients back to the hospital, but that zone over there is the smallest zone we have.
Yeah.
And it's right in the middle of the older part of Murfreesboro, so we make a lot of calls there.
Well, I know at the fire department, with our headquarters station and our on Vine Street and our Mercury station over with Station 3, those two stations are our high volume stations as far as the first responder calls.
And that's the same zone that the
Burton Street covers. So yeah, it could be just there's a lot of calls over in that area.
Well, you know, you got Middle Tennessee Boulevard and East Main Street and Mercury Boulevard all in that, as well as some more pretty busy roads.
Anybody else got any questions for Mike?
Motion to approve the report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Right, let's
Let me ask real quick, on the back where you got denied vacation, how do you explain that to us, will you?
We only have a certain number of positions that we can let off at any one time. And actually, our vacation is kind of complicated. In January each year, that everybody at the ambulance service can request at least a minimum of a week's vacation, and that becomes priority. And so we deal with those. So whenever you see these single shifts, typically that's a last minute sort of thing, and somebody found out they wanted maybe to do something and they asked off. And if we have, if all of the slots are full that we can let off at that shift, then they get denied.
But eventually they all get their vacation, all right?
They get their vacation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say you have to have a minimum staffing level just to operate in it. Once you get to that level, it's vacations are turned down.
Do you people seniority, y'all that usually on your vacations?
Everything else being equal, yes.
Okay.
Like for instance, if you had 10 years and I had 1 year,
Sure.
and I put in on January the 1st, and I wanted the week of, say, June 20th off.
Exactly.
And you didn't, you chose some other week, but then you
Right.
came along later on.
Right,
And
wanted
that
it.
week, then you wouldn't get that.
They had done already scheduled it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that, I guess you call, what do you call it, the swing? We put some swing paramedics on there or something,
PRN.
and the part-time people.
Yeah.
And I guess y'all utilize them as well during all that time and stuff.
Our PRN people are available on weekends more so than they are during the week. But yeah, if we can utilize that, plus our employees always have the option to swap with another employer. So they can get their time off. It's usually just if somebody comes and says, hey, can I have tomorrow or day after tomorrow off, and that happens to be full, then you can't give it to them.
Short notice type stuff.
Sound like it's similar to us.
Yeah.
I think it is. I'm not real familiar
Very
with
much so.
it.
Right. I understand that.
Any more questions for Mike? We got a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Correctional Work Center report. How you doing, sir? How's things going out there? Pretty good so far? Thank you, sir.
The activity report pretty much increased in some areas. Trash pickup, it's been going good. Let's see. We got some of May, the May stats are not really complete as far as pickups. They have not gotten all those back yet, but April speaks for itself. Programs are going good. We had some vehicle maintenance issues, but we got those corrected so far. So we're ready. Pretty much all our vehicles. I think we still have one of our vans, I believe, is still being repaired. As far as that.
I think y'all had some issues as far as work details, where y'all were having to swap.
We were rotating them. Yeah.
Rotating, inmates going out.
And that it created some issues with a lot of the agencies. And that was put in place for security, reasons. One of the things when these guys, and well, just the guys, we don't send our girls out, but they get familiar with the routines and the times, and if they're up to some, bad judgment calls, they'll have people drop stuff off in certain areas at certain times. One of our agencies, which is a secured area, was one of those issues. They actually dropped it by the fence, and normally they don't go to this fence because it's a secured area, like I said, and thank God that the agency did go out and inspect the area and found it was some illegal prescription pills and even the makeup kit, to how they use it to hide it in their bodies to bring it in. So it was a good catch, but that's one of the reasons that we're trying to do these things and rotate these guys, because once they get familiar with it, that's the only way they know to bring it in. Because they get searched and everything is changed. So it's, the word is out. They're trying to come up with new ways to get around it. But the agencies have been great working with us. I would like to go around personally and speak to them, let them know it wasn't nothing personal against them. There's just some security issues, but there have been some agencies that, reflected that sometimes it does help to have the regular inmates. So we're trying to work with them with that until something happens. I said, well, I don't have a problem working with you until something happens, then we'll change it. But it's been, a good relationship with that.
I know we had some of them down there doing some painting for the Murfreesboro Fire Department, Fire Administration Office and stuff, and tearing up some carpet and stuff, and they did a good job. And they saved the taxpayer $1 by inmate labor.
Yeah, we do need them to go out there. I think once the agencies work with the work center as far as, the security aspect, it's a win-win for everybody.
I wonder if there's any way we could put a value on that, as far as how much they're saving the county, city, as far as...
Well, at one time, I know they were having a dollar amount on the like basically minimum wage, and taking the number of hours per month at a minimum wage, and you can come up with a dollar amount.
Sure.
Based on that.
And basically show how much the taxpayers
They're saving.
are saving by having those inmates go out and.
Oh, yeah. It's a needed, definitely necessity, no doubt.
Y'all find a lot of TVs and some of this, but the convenience centers aren't taking on the side of the road?
Basically, a lot of times we reflect on that, of calls coming in if there's some issues with city roads, especially the county roads, and sometimes the Smith is good, Bart Smith is good to let us know, and then we in turn will let solid waste know, because basically solid waste will come and get them, we give them the inmates, and then trying to direct them, but certain streets need to be covered, so that's been working pretty good.
Periodically, I'll get an email, and I'm sure the rest of them here get it sometimes too, and that's somebody's asking about the inmates working around certain areas when they're working for the city, say Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, and say they're working around the library or something like that, and they have a worry about because children may be around. Just very briefly, can you just tell us how you select the ones that go out on the work crews?
Right, all the work crews are on a classification system. You know, are they there for DUI or driving suspended? What's their criminal history? So, and it's all based on that. If they have domestic violence, they don't go out. So we just, once we base that criteria and they get into a certain group, then we'll know which group they can go to and what type of jobs. Now, but once again, we can only control what we can see. Once they go to these agencies got, that's why we have these rules and we go over them once or twice. We try to do twice a year, and that's why we made it mandatory, and that wasn't just us, but the state. Anybody that's handling these inmates, these agencies, they need to send their people to this 40-hour class that Tennessee Correction Institute offers, and it's free to us. So all we need to do is schedule it and get these people in so they can understand what we're talking about as far as handling inmates and the security aspects of it. And, in case of any kind of litigation down the road, we can say, yeah, these people were trained at least 40 hours on how to handle these things. So,
thank you.
No problem.
Any more questions?
Lieutenant, are you on CADCOR's board? CADCOR, the Community Anti-Drug
No,
Awareness?
they did come by to speak to us. It wasn't too long ago, and we were highly interested in it. And there's another program. It was called Awana.
Yeah.
That I think they kind of tied in with, and we had meetings with them too. There's so many programs out there that I just definitely want to instill in there. We're doing programs now, but I've said it before, that facility is a great building with all these offices, and during the day and even the evening, we had a meeting with the adult ed director. His name escapes me, but he's offering to even have classes at night, which is great because that's when most of our population is there. All of them are there in the evening time. So, and if we didn't know, Rutherford County Adult Ed is ranked number 2 in the entire state, and that's a lot to say. I mean, that's beating out Davidson County. The only one better than them is Shelby, which is Memphis, and that's because of the numbers.
You're talking about Joe Herbert?
Right. So it's a great program, and we just installed a computer program where the inmates can have access to the internet just for that program, nothing else. So it's been a great relationship with the adult ed. And you can see their numbers are going up too, their GD classes. Yeah.
You make a good board member on their group.
I
know you're busy.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd be an asset to that committee.
Let's see, at our board meeting, we discussed, our lieutenant position was posted a couple of weeks ago. Today is the deadline for it, so all the applications have to be in today. Like I said, GED have really stepped up their program. They have been for years, actually. And we have one amendment other than that.
All right. Any questions on the report? If there's no questions on the report, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. On the amendment there?
Yeah, since I've been there, county maintenance, when I first got there, took care of our grounds. And one of the things, you know, county maintenance already has their hands full trying to take care of the entire county. So we already had some equipment assigned to us, so they've been letting us use it. And we have the labor to get it done, but we are lacking a sufficient mower, so we're trying to do this amendment here we already did our quotes and came up with this Bobcat mower, so we just needed to do this amendment so we can go ahead and purchase it.
You've heard the request. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. I'll second this motion.
You got a motion and a second. Our discussion.
Will you be taking care of the juvenile detention?
Yes,
there as
also,
well at the same
exactly.
time?
So, yeah, you know, once again, the county maintenance can go ahead and concentrate on other areas. So.
We have similar bids on different county properties where we've actually had lawn care people take care of that, which are quite a bit more than this amount right here. So we're definitely just saving ourselves some money, keeping these guys busy too. So that's a win-win for us.
Right. All right. Anybody else? Call roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. Sheriff Department report. Everybody on vacation?
Yeah.
You're up here by yourself?
We just have one budget amendment, and it's to move money from one account to another. This is within our budget, so we would like to move $10,000 into our overtime to cover estimated last payroll and comp time buybacks.
You've heard the request. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Our discussion. Hearing or seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. And you got I guess all these line items are, with this being right here to the last, are all okay, so
Doing just fine.
doing just fine. We had them transfer, right?
That's right.
All right. I entertain a motion for the report.
Move to approve.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
And that's second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Emergency management report. Let's go into that.
Pretty good. Everybody get one?
Yeah, I've got one more here.
No, I got. There's enough for everyone.
You might feel left out.
That's right. All right. Everybody have a good Father's Day? Good. On our reports this month, there's not a lot there. We're still, there's a couple of things I want to bring your attention to. One is this, on 6/2, we participated in a United Way meeting about a long-term recovery plan for different type of emergency disasters in the county, and we're going to be part of that planning committee with United Way and working on that. I think it's a pretty good idea, and we feel we're headed in the right direction in the county by doing that. Nothing else really major in here. We've been doing a lot of work on the flooding, trying to still tally numbers. We're still planning in preparation for the Uncle Dave Macon Day UASI communication verification exercise,
Yeah.
which we feel is going to go off without too many problems.
Well,
We're really practicing and getting ready for it.
if you would, let's kind of explain to the commissioners, because some of them may not know that this UASI district that we're in, right now, the city of Murfreesboro, police and fire, the ambulance service for Rutherford County EMA, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, trying to think who else.
We also have departments from other counties
Yeah.
going to be involved. Basically, what it is the Federal Homeland Security is requiring every UASI to prove their interoperability with multi-jurisdiction, multi-agency. And they, in our UASI 5, Nashville UASI, the program that was selected was the Uncle Dave Macon Days, and so we are going to prove our interoperability, and planning and preparation for it is going well. We have to follow ICS program and protocol, and we have Murfreesboro Fire is going to be command on it as being in the city of Murfreesboro, and everything is working, and everybody's preparation is going to plan. It will happen July 10th on Saturday. We don't know for sure how long they will evaluate us, but we are hoping for the best, and we feel confident that we'll get a passing grade.
Just in case any of y'all had received any questions on that is coming up, and there's been a lot of work involved in it from a lot of agencies. So,
how are you going to seal it off so that the admission gets collected?
Well, that's left up to somebody else.
We don't have anything to do with that part. We're using the event as a reason to set up comms. And we're not even going to be set up at the event. We're going to be over at McFadden School.
Oh, but it's
doing communications only.
Mm-hmm.
The Uncle Dave Macon Days is going to go on just like it always has. They're probably not even going to know we're even doing this. Basically, they know we're doing it, but they're not even going to have we will not interrupt their event in any way.
Most people attending that day will never even know what's going on.
Right.
But it will change in the sense that they've announced a $5 admission.
Yes, sir.
That's on their part. This is
yes, sir.
That $5 has nothing to do.
I wanted to be sure whether there was any interplay, because I'm bound to get asked.
No, it has nothing to do with that $5.
They're going to have to answer and take care of that.
Okay. Just tell them
and I'm
glad.
Yeah.
Y'all not going to stand back and hose people down and try to cross it.
Yeah, I understand they're going to have like 5 or 6 gates or something like that where they're going to be.
Yeah, but it is an understandable inquiry, though.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
As to whether you all are going to be involved in that.
We will have comms with the program people, and they will relay any of those problems or issues onto them. But I feel very comfortable that our comms will meet the standard. My only concern is making sure that everybody uses their radios properly. And we're training and trying to make sure all that gets covered.
All right.
Then last month, that I talked to you about the flood and where we're at, and I want to just give you a little pie chart update. First off, on Murfreesboro, they had 56 homes that were affected by it, and then 4 of them were just homes affected, 7 damage unknown, destroyed was 3, and homes major damage was 6, and just minor damage 36. Destroyed does not mean washed away. It just means it had major water damage, and therefore the whole first floor probably has to be gutted dried, cleaned, sanitized, and rebuilt drywall. The next page is Smyrna, and the same type thing, different number. They had a total of 201 homes with the same type categories. Next one is Laverne.
Mine's in there. Mine's in there.
Yes, it is. The next one is Laverne, and they had 126 homes. Same type categories. The next page was county proper, and we had 301 in the county area.
Is it Shores Road is all in the county out there where that was, right?
Yes, sir.
And there was only two.
It will be in the city at some point, but
right now.
It's county right now. And then the next page is countywide, combining all the municipalities, total of 684. All in all, Rutherford County fared pretty well in those May floods. Not to say that we didn't have damages, but we didn't have the problems that Nashville had. But we had some unique problems that they didn't have, like water that wouldn't go away, and we had to pump it out, Shores Road. So we had our own unique problems. These numbers are changing day by day as damages are assessed and repairs are done, and we're still finding people that will come forth and say they were affected, and we go back and check mapping and all that. So it's a living document, and we're tracking it by the address, their names, phone numbers, and all that, but I'm not putting all that out. I'm just giving you the pie charts to let you know where we are so far today.
Since we weren't affected very much, next time this happens, I'll let you crawl under my house instead of me, okay?
I'm not saying we didn't have problems, because we did. I got some water in my sunroom, too. But the thing of it is, we were very fortunate with the amount of rains that we had here on the problems we did have. And as we look at and trying to figure out why we have these problems or what can be done to mitigate them, that's another part of dealing with and documenting a flood situation, is what can be done, what can be put into place to make it less of a problem the next time. Because if there's one flood, there'll be another. And we know that in this kind of business.
How is planning going to use this information in the future?
Well, the pie chart itself, probably not, but on the actual addresses, and we look at
y'all got areas, I
terrains
guess,
and all that.
Pictures of some of the flooding.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Roger, how do you distinguish between minor damage and major damage? Give me some examples.
That's all on the amount of feet of water.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's not a cost, from a cost standpoint then?
It is on how many feet of water were in that structure, and then that breakdown it'll determine whether or not it's major, destroyed. If it's 8 feet of water, it's considered destroyed. That's the first level of the house. Mm-hmm. If it's 4 feet of water, but not 8 feet, then it's major. If it's 4 feet, under 4 feet of water to less than a foot or around a foot, it's minor. And then it's affected if you have less than a foot of water in it. And that's just, and all that is for planning stages of looking at the amount of water that was in a particular area. It has nothing to do with the actual cost of repairs or the amount of damages to the homes. It's just what we call it a curbside view, and our first basic analysis of the amount of damage that will be there. And then FEMA, once the people register, the FEMA then will send an inspector to go out and go through the house, check all that. And those that have been flooded and went through FEMA, they had an inspector come out. So this amount of damage and all has nothing to do with the insurance or anything. It's just the initial damage assessment by the documentation that's put out by FEMA and TEMA.
Okay. Any more questions on Roger's part of the report?
You need a motion on?
Well, we do it all at one time.
Okay.
The only thing I want to point out in my report is that June the 4th, me and training instructor of Murfreesboro Fire Department, Billy Benson, brought over to the Tennessee Fire Academy, and they have created a burn building over there where we can take two 20-foot intermodal trailers, and one long ways and one in ways, and you can actually do live level A burns in there. And what it is, it's just instead of putting all the expensive installation for propane, you can line the inside of that trailer with a 1/4-inch steel. And then the only thing you have to have is a temperature sensor in there that will monitor the temperature inside that building where it doesn't get over 800 degrees. There's a vent that's in the top that if it does exceed that temperature, you can crank the vent open, or you can open the back doors, and you have a fire hose going here with your firefighter's training. Have two end doors right here. If there's an emergency happens, you can open those two end doors. You've got a safety line sitting right there. And basically, they've got like $8,000 in that. So the Fire Chiefs Association is 501(c) now, and they're going to write a grant to try to obtain the funds where we can actually have this thing built and brought in, and we can actually start doing live burns, because the focus is with the state law being where everybody has to have the basic firefighting. We want to try to do all that in county, where we can do the rookie school, the live burn, and everything, and then have that approved through the Tennessee State Fire Commission. When they meet these training requirements, then they'll be able to go ahead and test for their state funding, or state certificates.
Is that something that could be placed out there at the Kittrell area?
Yeah, that's what we want to look at. We'd have to pour
since it's already
a 45 by 20-foot pad of concrete, and then those two buildings, and then the steel on the inside, and then that temperature sensors. There's two sensors actually. There's one in the back wall and one that comes down in right over the top of it. And then of course you have to have an instructor right there monitoring that temperature the whole time. But that would give us an opportunity to have live burns, which would be a great training tool.
Because I think now they have to go somewhere else or to the academy to get that.
Well, the academy is actually using this.
I'm talking about our firefighters in Rutherford County would have to go.
It'd be you Murfreesboro, Smyrna, anybody in Rutherford County want to use it would be there from to train with. So you're actually giving them the basic rookie school, and then also giving them some actual live firefighting. And the way it's set up is pretty safe.
Yeah.
You just got to have enough instructors and a safety line in charge, ready to go in case something happens. And you got an escape door on the right side of the burn trailer. So I was really impressed with it.
The same things at the fire academy.
Yeah, that's where they created, because they got a multi-million-dollar live burn building over there that they use for propane, but this is just basically a box in the end of it, and you put pallets, stack them up, set those pallets on fire, so it's a level A as far as wood burning, and then but it creates enough heat in there where they can actually feel the heat of it. If they were inside of a structure that was burning, I mean, you can get it to 800 or 900 degrees, and so they actually feel the heat and actually be able to go in there and do some fire suppression.
For people that's not familiar with firefighting, which several of us are, of course, but just think about what your oven temperature is when you're roasting a turkey. You know, it's not much over 300 if it's that much. We're talking 800 degrees. So, you got to admire these guys that will walk into a building and try to save your property to do that.
Well, a lot of these buildings now, with the things that we purchasing and put in these buildings, with the foam and stuff in these couches, the temperatures can reach well up to close to 2,000 degrees now. Inside of a house, if it gets a good head start, so it gets pretty warm in there.
Not to mention the poisonous gases that are coming off of those.
Exactly.
That we used to have.
But this is something that I'm really going to try to work hard and get in place, because it would be a valuable training tool for our volunteers, and of course anybody else that would, city or anybody else would want to use it.
You're saying that there's grants available to help us with that?
Well, the Chiefs Association was going to apply through a grant, like the Middle Tennessee Electric grant, and we feel like $14,000 if the fire chiefs. I discussed it with them, showed them, talked to them about what we've done, what we looked at, and if we can get that money, we can actually set it up and have somebody come in and do the work without having to depend on the guys volunteering their time. Just go ahead and have somebody pour the pad, set the trailers, and the biggest part of the labor would be welding, and I can weld, so I could probably do the majority of that myself. But just the capabilities of having live fire inside of a metal structure would be a big benefit.
In July.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That's the best time to do it. That way you get extra heat now, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's when I did most of mine, July.
There you go. Your overall analysis of every fire department
Just standing there.
in the county.
Pardon?
Your overall analysis of every volunteer fire department, are they up to codes and everything as far as their gear and their equipment? I mean, have you seen any?
Most, I'd say the majority of I'd say all the volunteer fire departments have, of course, they have the trucks that the county commission has blessed us with over the years. They've got good apparatus. They've all got fairly new or very good turnouts. The only lack I see is that some of them don't train like they probably need to. But other than that, and then of course the problem with the volunteers, you have a couple of districts that during the daytime they virtually have nobody to respond. So.
And that's because
they're working. They're working. So, you know, the best case scenario with a volunteer fire department is if you have people in your department who work nights and days, and that way somebody is always off their work shift to be able to respond. And of course, I'm kind of aware of where those districts are at. So, and I monitor the radio 24/7. I sleep with it. So if I hear something going on that I know is going to be a problem as far as personnel, I'll have other departments dispatched to cover that.
Great.
When's the next school, as far as the fire school they'll be graduating from, some of these volunteers?
We put one on in March, and we're looking at starting another one here probably latter part of August. And because we didn't want to do it in July because of the heat, you know, it's 100 degrees this week. And of course, the state requires 64 hours, but we actually put them through 80 hours because we want them to know, we want to feel confident that when they do graduate this school, they are trained, they know what to do, they know how to use their SCBA. So when they go to, matter of fact, some of the guys have already went through our class, and they come back bragging about how the instructors over there complimented them, how they were ready to go and knew what was going on, and they could have led the rest of the class.
What's the cost on that?
The cost for the school was $175 that you pay to the academy, but you can send either 5 or 25 students through it. It's just a one cost where it used to be $90 per firefighter, but now they hand the class off to let fire instructors at each department in their counties teach it. So it's really cut down on the actual cost, because a lot of the firefighters had to pay anywhere from $90 and $95 to go through just the live burn. And excuse me, I take that back, go through the 64-hour class. And then you just look like $30 or $40 for the live burn. So if we can teach the rookie school, we had 26 students graduate in March. It was $175 for that class. It didn't cost the firefighters anything, because most of the time I can get a department to sponsor that. And then I'll also talk to the fire chiefs about, they pay dues every year, and they've got money. So that I told them that would be a good expenditure for their money to pay for these rookie classes, and then hopefully help pay for the live burns as guys go over and get the training. That way the volunteer's not out any money.
Yeah.
But if we can do these classes in county, and then eventually get to a position where we can do live firefighting, it will be no cost for the training at all. And then get them where they can be state certified.
Yeah.
Who all would be teaching who all teaches the rookie school, and who would be teaching the live firefighting training?
I've actually got 4 or 5 instructors that we work with, and then people I feel very confident about, and we're going to use that same ones. We're setting up a training committee, and that training committee will oversee all the overall firefighting training operations. And then I've got one guy in mind who's really gun-ho about it, and I'm going to kind of put him over that and get him and help him to kind of keep that going, because they've got whenever they join a fire department, within 3 years from the time they join, they've got to have that 64-hour live our rookie school. They've got to have 16 hours of firefighting training before they even go to a fire scene. A lot of the chiefs, a lot of the departments don't even allow them to go to a fire scene until they've had the full 64 hours. But like I say, the state fire academy only requires 64 hours, but we, we do 80. That way we know that when they come out of there, they're not only trained to firefighter level 1, they're trained to firefighter level 2.
Who teaches that 80?
Me and Logan Gill taught the last one.
Oh, did you?
And then I got a young man from Smyrna Fire Department, Robbie Hall. He helped us a lot. So it was mainly me and him teaching every night.
Well, if we could, if we could recognize those volunteers on 19 somehow, I think we've talked about that. And the mayor's been real supportive of getting the fish fries and breakfasts on Channel 19. But
Well, I took some pictures to Brian and them and of all of our training. But next time we have this, I'm going to set it up in advance to have them come out and actually do some filming of the training, and then they can do a video at the end of that to show what training we put them through, and then them actually graduating. So I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And most of these young guys love it.
I think you need to put Brian in a turnout gear and put a camera in there with him.
What do you mean that 800-degree fire?
I get a hot point.
You stressed a lot about the firefighting. How about your engineers, your pump operators, the ones handling, actually doing them? Have you got some good?
Yeah, and we've actually had pump operation classes.
Right.
To make sure that these guys know what they're doing, they know how to figure their friction loss on their hose, and how much, what their fire load is, what their fire flow is, how much water they need to be flowing at a certain type of structure, what size it is.
Good.
So, we're trying to give them all, we give them all they want. I don't know if it's all they can stand, but we give them all they want.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the other than the water report and the training report.
Those Blackman's haven't been turning reports in, are they pretty much
Well,
on the way, or?
our administrative assistant marks that because they didn't turn in by the due date, by the time she gets all this information in and turns it in.
On the second page of that, it has 0 for March, April, and now May. Is
Yeah.
that because they're not getting them in, or what's the
That's
deal?
because they're not getting them in on time.
Are we getting them at some point?
Huh?
Are we getting them at some point?
Yeah, we get them after the due date.
The 0 means there's no water.
And two, the 0 could mean they could mean they just didn't have any water usage that month.
If it's an X.
But the X means it wasn't turned in, period, when she filed this. But the 0, I mean, of course, you look up there on District 35, January and February, they had no water usage. So the X just means they didn't turn in. And most time we get them, but we like to have them by the 4th. But if we don't receive them by that time, she has to report to consolidate what our total water usage is.
Okay.
And so if they didn't return in, she marks that.
Real quick, Larry. I know it's a subdivision off Hoover Road. I know we had a water problem out there at one time, as far as the one having. How is that now?
Well, there at one time, years ago, those hydrants were dry, but Consolidated is actually, they come down 96 and put a 26-inch line and then drop down to 20-inch line. And the pressure's so high out there now, a lot of people had to have reducers on both sides of their taps. Last time I talked to Larry McElroy, they were rerouting water down Oregon Road back in there.
Right.
So I think it's pretty much took care of the water problem out there off Kingsville Highway.
Good.
A lot of those hydrants out there are pretty hot now.
Good.
Any more questions? If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion for the reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Pauls, you've got, Tracy called me and she was unable to be here tonight. It's on the desk. Her report, she said that there was no whole lot of changes out there, anything, and no problems, and everything was
Motion to approve.
in order.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Drug court, Ms. Snyder also said she couldn't be here tonight, but I don't know the report. Okay. Wheel tax officer report, I didn't talk to Bart. He may have called me and I forgot about it, but I don't.
The last two missed a fair amount, don't they? The wheel tax officer and
Well,
drug court.
Drug court, she had a She had something going on with drug court tonight, the reason she wasn't here tonight.
Was it one of their graduations?
Wasn't graduation, it was something else, and I don't remember exactly what she told me, but it was a legitimate, on that, but, I'm not familiar on the wheel tax officer report. If he told me, I forgot it. 'Cause I spoke to him the other day about some other issues, about something, and I don't remember him telling me, but he could have, and my senior mind, maybe I might forget. Next, we're under any other business. Does anybody have any other business to come before the committee tonight? If not, we stand adjourned.